Like, yeah, we're live.
Sean, holy
Sh-
moly.
Sherry, welcome to the Hard Stuff is Okay debrief, everyone. Sherry and I just had a intense meeting for the first part on Growth Day. A very, very sweet person. Um, had a lot of hard stuff, I think, that was pent up for years and years and years, and is a little, maybe a little bit more extroverted than I'm usually like. I don't want to say comfortable with, but it was a lot of energy and a lot of tough things this person was going through, to the point where we couldn't interrupt, which is, as coaches, is a very interesting thing because that's a tricky business in itself, to acknowledge someone, to hold the space, and to get to the coaching things or the group task things that we need to do. So Sherry and I started this group years ago over the book Bittersweet from Susan Cain, talking about the hard things. And I think we're going to just start with, how do we handle and take care of ourselves after a emotional meeting where it's really intense?
Yeah.
Uh,
What I'm going to add to that, Sean, um, that, not only were we, coming from a group, and there are a lot of people in the world right now feeling a lot of hard stuff, right? And I don't think
mhm.
it's uncommon. Over the weekend, had encountered several other people, really there's a lot going on. And we were, we were laughing before we went live about, like, yeah, the hard stuff's okay, but it's also like, what happens when it's just like pummeling, whether it's pummeling
Yeah.
us or someone else is being pummeled and we're witnessing it. I think probably anyone listening to this might have this experience, maybe not. I keep wondering, are there some people in the world who maybe aren't going through hard stuff? It seems like almost
Mhm.
everyone I know is.
Yeah. And I'm not sure if it's like we're just aware of more of it because of how information is exchanged now, but it has felt like, probably since COVID, it's a
Yeah.
constant, like, things are going wrong everywhere, or things are going wrong, like, personally, like this year's been a trial of personal tests of, how are you going to handle family stuff? How are you going to handle health? How are you going to handle, and I think maybe this is what I've noticed, and maybe you have a thought on this. It's one thing if it's like one person getting pummeled, but like, I had a friend have a house burned down, and now his wife might be getting laid off, and like, he had a colleague get injured at work. Like, it's just like everyone around me is also going through a constant series of these hard things where, like, one would be enough. Like, one would be great. Like, I think as coaches we train to handle those kind of episodic moments, but it's a different game when it's consistent. How are you thinking about through
Yeah,
that?
I love that we're talking about this, because part of it, right, is like, I was just on the phone for a long time with a friend this morning. Transparency, I was bawling my eyes out, right? Like, so many things, so many losses. And one of the things that we kept coming back to is, this is what is. Like, no matter
Hmm.
how much, like, so when we say the hard stuff is okay, it's kind of a funny name because it has to be okay, right? Because
Hmm.
what else is there? I mean,
Right.
there's just a lot of things that we, as humans, we don't have control over. We can control. We can look at how we respond to things. We can look at how we are with each other. We can look at how we
Hmm.
take care of ourselves. But yeah, so yeah, and I'm gonna circle back to what you were just saying about what happens when it's not even just in our own lives, but the people that we know. It feels like a very consistent sort of pummeling. Maybe to me, Sean, this is the first step. To me, the first step is just being able to say,
Hmm.
wow, wow, this is a lot. And it's not
Yep.
just me, it's a lot of people I know, and feeling my heart open to that.
Hmm. Yeah. I think that's spot on, actually one of the things we've had in this group has been uh, being okay with the emotions that come with the hard stuff. It's like that permissiveness. But I almost wonder if there's still this like idea I'm noticing for me that like, oh, I just wish I was back in the phase of my life when like everything was going happily. And how do we get back to there? And like the idea of the group is like, you don't ever get back to there. you know, it's that these are the human experiences we have to deal with in order to move forward.
Well, and I love what you just said because this is what one of the things I was saying to my friend. I kept saying, I just want to go back. And of course
Hmm.
I mean, it's actually a ridiculous thing to say. There's no going back. And
Hmm.
I do wonder, I noticed for myself how much that resistance to what is adds to the suffering, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, the wanting to change the situation so desperately so you don't feel bad or you don't, aren't experiencing the negative feelings, I'll put in air quotes, um, actually increases the friction of it. It's putting more weight on it, so it's causing more um, pain, like you
Yeah,
said. I just
right.
restated what you said, but
No, but that was great. And I'm going to give a really simple example because this is probably one of the most like there's absolutely nothing to be done that we had to put our cat to sleep last week, right? Like and
Mhm.
we had her for 16 and a half years. Her sister, she wasn't really a sister, but her best friend died last year. So I've hardly gotten over that. And I was thinking about like, so I walk in the house and I'm like, ugh, you know,
Mhm.
I and I realized today that it's like I could walk in the house and be like extra kind to myself. Oh, honey, I know
Mhm.
this is hard. Instead of like walking the house and being like, I wish she were here. I wish she were here. There's a,
Mhm.
there's a big difference, right? Because one of them, I'm just like fighting it. Like, I miss her. I want to hold
Mhm.
her. Where is she? I wish she were here. She's not coming
Yeah.
back. She's not
Mhm.
coming back. And I think that what I could be doing is just being like more like, I know, I know this is
Mhm.
hard. I mean, that's what we do for each other, right? Like, I know, I hear you.
Mhm.
It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah. And we often talk about like grief reminding you of other grief. I had a cat years ago. His name was Slider,
Oh,
but he was a great little fuzzy guy, long haired, like wake up and have the bed head thing. Um, but what I struck with me, instead of feeling sad for him passing this time around, I remember that he would surprise me sometimes where I'd like fall asleep, without like a shirt on, and he'd like lick my armpits, which is the worst way to get woken up because the cat song is very rough. And like the split second of panic and confusion of like what is going on my body, and he's just like looking at me like, "Hey, what's up?" You know, I'm like, you know, and he'd like snuggle up. I just
oh,
remember that like joyful moment, of like, these pets never really leave us too. He's gone, but I still guard my armpits at night. Like it's
Sean,
a little weirdo.
yeah. Well, and and so I think this is like the real crux of it, right? Like it's that um it's allowing ourselves the feelings. I think we always bring
Hmm.
this, don't we? Allowing ourselves the feelings, but not drowning in them, but
Hmm.
not pretending they don't exist, but also
Hmm.
acknowledging the love. And it's like a big old club sandwich of
Yeah.
stuff, right? And yeah,
It's the multitudes.
thank you. I love that you say that. I just wait every time for you to say that, right?
I kind of felt we were building up to that. So, um,
Um, yeah, and I think it's tricky, right? It's really tricky because also of things, let's go back to like, so for me, it's like going through like a series of losses. And yeah, and a lot of people that I know happen to be going through some hard stuff. And I think the
Hmm.
other question, and this comes back to us as coaches, and I think about this a lot, like, what am I doing for my energy? What am I doing
Hmm.
to take care of myself? Because it's exhausting. And I think we can't separate out um, self-care from the hard stuff.
Right. Yeah. I think they're one and the same, you know. I mean, something you said that was really interesting is like to not sit in the feelings. Um, I think feelings are action indicators that the energy needs to go somewhere, and that could be a conversation with a good friend, a piece of art, a quiet evening reading a book, you know, um, double down and putting it into your work. I think feelings are a call for movement.
Oh,
Uh, and it either spiritually, physically, emotionally, but like something needs to get transferred because when it gets stuck in you, that's when I feel, for me, that's when I have the hardest times.
yeah.
And being conscious of that. And so like I have like a checklist of like when I'm really feeling down, it's like go for a walk, it's read a book, it's play some music, it's listen to music, it's talk to Ashley. I have a couple of good friends on my like, and it's a long list. And these times where we're getting pummeled by everything, right? Sometimes that list doesn't work, and what do you do? And like, there was a time a month ago where I got through my list, and everything that I was trying to do just made me angrier about what was going on, you know? And so you could feel that the energy is supposed to go out into that long walk, and now I feel worse. Like, what's kind of going on there? And like, I don't have a good answer for what to do in those situations. I'm not sure if
I do.
you do. All right.
Well, the only reason I do is because this is what I was talking to my friend about this morning. Because I have a very long list of things that I can do. Right, like the same as you. I'm not feeling very, well. I'm feeling grief, whatever. Here's some things to do. Right, and there's a lot of things. And my friend said, "That sounds tiring." And I said, immediately, I was like, "I'm really tired." And
Hmm.
she said, on that list, do you ever just have do nothing? Like, try nothing,
Hmm.
stop trying, just be. And I realized, like, sometimes going for a walk or meditating or running or talking to a friend, those are all great. And then sometimes what those are is my system saying, I don't want this, save me, get me out of this. And maybe in
Hmm.
those times, it's not always going to be that, but maybe in those times, it's like just to surrender.
Hmm. Hmm.
And I don't know. I'm certainly open to trying it because I think, yeah, I think sometimes the frantic grabbing for the tool to feel better is in itself exhausting.
It can be. I agree with that. And that hard day that I was talking about, like I just eventually gave up and just like I'm just going to feel how I feel for the rest of the day.
Oh,
And like I took long, I think I took 3 naps that day. Had like I basically looked like a depressed person because that's how I felt. And I'm like, I'm going to like put on the armor of how or reflect how I'm feeling. Went for like a 2.5 meandering. Like I went for a walk because it's on my checklist, but I didn't go because it's on the checklist. It's just I'm just gonna go and see where my legs take me.
yeah.
I want to be in nature and like listen to birds and like so I went to a place and sat on the bench for a while and just kind of existed.
Yeah.
And the next day I was able to kind of like, okay, ready to get going, So yeah, there's something to that surrendering or that accepting um without resistance. It's like I'm gonna float on this stream for a little bit because everything that I'm trying to do to swim is pulling me further down towards the waterfall, and like
Yes,
that's
I
that's
love that.
relax.
You know what? I love that because I think what you're saying, yeah, is one way to respond. I think that the trick, right, is that we have to be really present in the moment to know what,
Hmm.
like, because sometimes that's exactly I think what we need to do. But then if it happens 3 or 4 or 5 days in a row, we might have to say to ourselves, "Oh wait, do I need to do something else?" There's no like one right answer, which I think is part of this whole
Right.
thing. Yeah. But I mean, for
Hmm.
me, I know that we're almost at our time, but I think doing these with you, to me, it's like opening up the conversation is the first step. Like, because it helps, you know,
Hmm.
it helps us understand, like, well, where am I in this? If somebody's listening right now or later, they might be like, yeah, do I want to take a walk? Do I want to take a nap? Do I want to just sit and do nothing until it comes to me? Am I resisting? Am I trying? Am I not
Hmm.
trying? Like, just to get a sense, like, what's going on for me?
Yeah. And yeah, through that understanding, I think you can have acceptance, or you can have oh, this is what I really need right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me, in the moment.
Yeah.
Um, and that changes, and that's different for everyone. And it's different, you know, for me in a day. It's like, oh, I might feel more pressure in the morning, like, oh, I got to get some work done, and then by lunchtime, if I'm like fighting it, it's like, you know what? Trying to hang on to this idea of what I have to get done today maybe isn't
Yeah.
the best strategy. So yeah,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, what
good.
I'm hearing underneath all of this is like really a compassion and a spaciousness for ourselves. That's what I'm hearing. Like,
Hmm.
there's not an answer. We don't know. Like, but how can we just show up for ourselves or with a friend and like I'm doing with you right now? Like, I'm talking to you and I'm thinking, I'm going to go lie down for 15 minutes after this and just give myself a rest. Just
Hmm.
I feel my system feels overloaded. Um, that's the next step. And then I'll see after that.
Yeah. And sometimes it's just the next best step, is what our friend
Yes.
Brendan would say, and 15 minutes with your eyes closed can change the world.
And honestly, yeah.
Or it could not. But that's what makes living life fun.
What are you going to do for yourself after we go?
I have another call,
Okay.
and so I'm gonna go do that, and then yeah, I think I might get outside.
Yeah.
Ashley and I had a thing this morning that I think went well, and I'll say this codedly because I don't want to say it on the internet, but we'll know later this week, Sherry, and you know what that
Okay.
means. So
Awesome.
um, about next steps. So yeah,
Awesome. All right. Sean, thank you so much. Um, Talking to you always, like it always lifts my energy. It's great to have friends. Thank you.
likewise, likewise. So I appreciate you so much, Sherry. My heart's with you with the kitty. You know, and if you feel too sad, just imagine a cat licking my
I
armpit
know.
and me jumping awake because it's hilarious. I and weird. Like, I
I
don't
love
recommend you have that experience, but at my expense.
Oh my gosh, I love that. Thank you. Thank you, and anyone who's listening now, who listens later. Be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, and always remember to ask for help if you need it.
Yeah, we're here.
Thank you, Sean.
Thanks,
See you,
Sherry.
see you next time.
You got it.
Yay.